So in section 8, we are doing something called factoring by grouping according to the book, but we are not going to do the book's method once again. We're going to do something a lot easier. So since I taught you guys how to do factoring using the box, AC and so on, we can just use that when we have 4 terms. Set up a box, put the terms in the box, and then use the box just like we've always done. And then we have our answer, okay? That will take way less time than the book's method. If you were to look in the book and see what they have you do, they have you pull out GCF after GCF after GCF. It takes a long time and it's confusing. So this is way easier. But first, what is step 1 in any factoring problem? Oh, if I had $1 for every time I said it in this class, I would probably be able to retire at the exact same time, but I'd have a little bit more money. What is the first thing we do in all factoring problems? Take a GCF out if there is one. The greatest common factor has to come out no matter what method we're doing. If we're just undoing FOIL, or if we're using the box, or if we're factoring this way, we still have to pull out the GCF every time, okay? So take a look at this example right here. Notice that there's 4 terms, and they're listed from highest degree to lowest degree. The 3rd degree term, the 2nd degree term, the 1st degree term, the 0 degree term, okay? Is there a GCF here other than 1 overall?
No.
Nope. So we're going to go straight to the box. Now the way that you enter your terms into the box is you're going to put the highest degree term in the first box, and then just like reading a book, the next highest degree term across, and then down to the next line, the next highest degree term, and then finally your lowest degree term. So the highest degree term, 3n to the 3rd. The next highest degree term, negative 12n squared. The next highest degree term, 2n. And then finally this negative 8 right here. So just like reading a book, highest degree to lowest degree, top line across, next line across. Okay? All right, so now just like always, we're going to pull out a GCF for each row and column. So what's the GCF for the top row?
2n squared?
Well, a 3 would be, so 3n squared. Okay, how about the bottom row?
2.
Just 2, yeah. Okay, in the first column?
1n.
1n. And then the last column?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So just to refresh your memory on something, if you're not sure if you actually got the GCF, you should be able to multiply the row by the column and get the number that's in the box. So for example, this negative 8 right here, 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. This 3n to the 3rd, 3n squared times n is 3n to the 3rd. If you don't get what's in the box, you didn't pull out the GCF correctly, so then you would just go back and fix that, okay? Well, anyway, we have the answer right here, 3n squared plus 2 times n minus 4, and we're done. So with this process, we're using the same skill that we already have, adapting it to the fact that we have 4 terms, and we already know what to do, rather than learning some new process like section 8 tries to get you to do, okay? So, next one, I want to factor this. What do I do?
GCF?
Is there a GCF here other than 1?
No.
Nope. So we're going to go straight to the box because we have 4 terms. What's in the first box?
8t3.
8t to the 3rd. And then the next?
14t to the 2nd.
14t squared. Next?
20t.
20t. And finally, the 35. So next, pull out the GCFs for the rows and columns. So for the top row, what do you got? 2t to the 2nd, that's right. Okay, the bottom row. 5, yes. And then the first column. 4t. And remember, if you're not sure, you could just multiply the row by the column again, and you do get 8t to the 3rd. Okay, and the last column. 7. Okay, so we have our answer. 4t plus 7, 2t squared plus 5. I could write 2t squared plus 5 first, and then the 4t plus 7 after that. It doesn't matter, okay? You won't get marked wrong. So that's it. All right, now, there's in the notes, watch out when you group blah, blah, blah. This is totally irrelevant to us because we are not doing the book's method of factoring by grouping, okay? So we're not doing that. We're just gonna go straight to the box, or actually look for a GCF first. Is there a GCF here?
No.
Not other than one, right? So we're gonna go to the box. What's in the box?
2 R's in the first.
Yep. And then
12 R's in the second.
12r squared, and then
Negative 5 R's.
-5r, and then -30. Okay, so we just set it up as is, like we've been doing, and then we can go ahead and factor out the GCFs for the rows and columns. So what's the top row?
2R squared.
2r squared. Okay, and then the bottom row?
Negative 5.
It is -5. And then the first column?
R.
Just r. And the last column?
6.
Yeah, it's got to be 6, because 6 times -5 gives me that -30 right there. And we're done. We just got to write our answer. So 2r squared minus 5 times r plus 6, and we're done. So we've already done 3 problems, and in the time it took us to do those 3 problems, using math we already know how to do, I would still be teaching you how to do the book's method, okay? So that's how powerful this method is. So, remember, step 1 is always what?
Find
GCF.
GCF.
Look for a GCF. Okay. So is there a GCF on this first one?
Yes.
Yes. What is it?
2. 4.
2 is a factor, but it's not the greatest common factor. 4 is the biggest number that goes into 4, 8, 12, and 24. What about y? Is there something I can pull out there? Just y. There's a y in every term, which means I can pull out a y, okay? What's left over?
Y to the third.
Okay.
Minus 2y to the second.
Yep.
Plus
3
3y.
minus 6.
Yes, 6. Okay, so notice that in the parentheses we still have 4 terms. Because I have 4 terms, I'm going to go straight to the box, all right? I'm going to leave my little brother, the 4y, hanging out there for a minute. In the box is what?
Y3
Okay, y cubed, and then
minus 2y to the second.
negative 2y squared here, and then
3y
3y here, and then
negative 6.
-6. Okay, so we're ready to factor out the GCFs for the rows and columns. What do we got for the top row?
Y squared.
Okay. How about the bottom row?
3.
3. Now the first column,
Y.
just y, and the last column,
Negative 2.
correct. Okay, so we're ready to write our answer. Don't forget this little brother right here, 4y times, then y squared plus 3, then y minus 2, and we're done. Okay, this fourth one now, or I guess the second one on this page, which makes it the 5th one for the whole thing. What do we do first?
Find the GCF.
What is the GCF here?
3h.
3h. The biggest number that goes into 6, 9, 12, and 18 is 3. And then we have h to the 4th, h to the 3rd, h to the 2nd, and h. The lowest exponent is on that guy, so it's h that we pull out. Now what's left over?
2h to the third.
Okay.
Plus 3h to the second.
Good.
Plus 4h plus 6.
4h plus 6. Okay, great. Now what?
Box.
Okay, so we set up the box because we have 4 terms. We go straight to the box. And what goes in there?
2h to the third.
Yep.
3h to the second.
Yep.
4h to
Yep.
the 6th.
Good. Okay, so we're letting the little brother just hang out over here for a minute, and we're going to take care of this over here. Top row, what do we got?
H to the second.
Okay, bottom row,
2.
2. First column,
2h.
Yes. And the last column? 3. So what's our answer?
3H.
Yep.
And then parentheses 2H plus 3.
Okay.
And then H to the second plus 2.
Plus 2. Good. That's the answer. Okay? Hopefully you feel like you can handle that because it's the same math we've been doing all along anyway. It's just 4 terms to start, which means we don't have to do AC. Okay, so now a question for you. Is 6 minus a the same as negative 1 times a minus 6? What do you think? If you're not sure, then we could simplify the negative 1 times a minus 6. What would I have to do?
Distribution.
We could distribute the negative 1 in. Okay, so let's do that. If I distribute the negative 1 in, what do I get?
Negative
Negative a
A plus 6.
plus 6. Now, am I allowed to rearrange the order that those terms are written? Could I say instead of negative a plus 6, 6 minus a? Yes, I can. So 6 minus a is what we get on the right-hand side, and 6 minus a is what we started with on the left-hand side. So are those two things the same? Yes, they are. Now, the reason that this is important is because if you are factoring, every single factoring problem, the highest degree term has to be positive. So if the highest degree term is negative, then you need to factor a negative 1 out before you can try to factor it, okay? Highest degree term must be positive. So let's take a look at this problem right here. Which of these terms is the highest degree term?
12M.
No.
2MK.
The 2mk is, how come?
Because there's 1 for each.
Because there's an exponent of 1 there and an exponent of 1 there, and the degree of the term, you add the 1 plus 1 and you get a degree of 2. Okay, so we have a degree of 2 on this guy. What about the minus 12m? What's the degree of that one? 1. What about the 42? What's the degree of that one? 0. What about that minus 7k? What's the degree of that one? 1. So when we set up our box, it doesn't matter that we have multiple letters here, we can still handle that. But when we set up our box, we want to go highest degree term to lowest degree term, just like reading a book, okay? So when I set up my box here, what has to go in that first box?
2MK.
The 2mk does. Okay, now, that was the degree of 2 term. Now I have 2 degree of 1 terms. Does it matter which order I go first? No, it doesn't, because they're both the same degree. So I can put the minus 12m here, which means the minus 7k has to go here. And then the only thing that's left is the degree of 0 term, 42. Okay? Highest degree term to lowest degree term as we set up our box. So you just got to think about those numbers. All right, so what's the GCF for the top row? Look at the numbers, 2 and 12. So 2. And then we'll look at the letters. Do we have any common letters? The M. Yeah, so 2M. How about the bottom row?
-7.
Negative 7, yeah. Okay, now the first column.
M.
Is it?
K.
It's K. There's a shared K in both those boxes. The numbers aren't going to work, but the K does. Okay, what about negative 12M and 42?
-6.
It is negative, and it is 6. If you're not sure, just double check. Negative 7 times negative 6 is 42, so we did get it right, okay? And now we just write our answer. We have 2m minus 7 times k minus 6. Or k minus 6 times 2m minus 7. It doesn't matter, but it's the same answer, okay? That's how you do that. Same process. All right, now take a look at the second one. We have C minus 2CD plus 8D minus 4. What do we do?
GCF. Curve.
Is there a GCF here other than 1? No. What's the highest degree term?
-2CD.
And you said negative 2CD. Can we have the highest degree term be negative? No, we can't. So this is where we're going to use this idea that we just talked about right here and factor out a -1. There is no GCF, but we're gonna factor out a -1 to make the highest degree term positive, okay? So when you do that, we have -1, open the parentheses. That makes -c, so basically all the term signs are gonna change, plus 2cd minus 8d plus 4. Because if I distribute that -1 in, it's just gonna change all the signs back, okay? Now that -1 is gonna act just like a little brother. We're gonna let it hang out for a second. We're gonna go ahead and do the rest of the problem, and then we'll bring it back in at the end, all right? So we have 4 terms here. Set up the box. In the box, what's in that first box?
2CD.
The 2cd, how come?
Greatest.
Because it's the highest degree term. Then what?
-C.
Okay, we can put -c here, which means we have to put
-8D.
-8d here because those are both the degree of 1 terms. And then what's last?
4.
4, because that's a degree of 0 term. Okay, so now we can do exactly what we've been doing all along. Top row,
C.
just C. Bottom row,
-4.
it's -4. Good. First column,
D.
just D?
2.
2D, yeah. And how about the last column?
-1.
Good, -1. There's always a GCF. If you don't see one, then it's 1. In this case, it's negative because that first box was negative. Okay, so we have our answer. The -1 comes back in. You can write negative or -1 either way. And then 2D minus 1 times C minus 4, and you're done. So you have to do that way with that negative highest degree term. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with the wrong answer. Okay, this last one, what are we going to do? Can I go straight to my box or do I have a GCF here? Is there a GCF here?
No.
Other than 1? No. Is the leading coefficient positive? I mean, is the highest degree term a positive term?
No.
No, it's not. Which one's the highest degree term?
-2p to the
Right now, that's -2p squared. And that can't be. So we have to pull out a negative. So I pull out -1. What do we get then?
-3p plus 2p to the second plus 18p minus 27.
Yep, all it does is change the signs of what was there originally. Now can I set up my box because my positive, highest degree term is positive? Yes. So draw the box. First box is
2p to the second,
good. Next box,
-3p,
sure. And then,
18p,
okay, and then
-27.
-27. Now, GCF for the top row.
P,
Yep, just P. Bottom row.
3,
3 definitely works. Is there a bigger one?
9,
9 goes into both of those. So we need to get that. Okay, the first column.
2p,
2p. And the last column,
-3.
yeah, -3. So now we have our answer. It is -1 times p plus 9 times 2p minus 3. Okay with that? Okay. And one last thing. It says factor completely. So that means look for a GCF. If there's a GCF, pull that out. Make sure the highest degree term is positive. If it's not, pull a negative out as well. Then factor what you got. If there's more factoring to do after that, then you got to factor that, okay? So what do we have here? Do we have a GCF? What is it?
6.
Just 6? Yes. If you look at the 42, 6 times 7, 7's prime, so there's nothing more than that. So just 6, what about the letters?
M,
Yeah, I can pull an M out. So times what's left over?
10,
10m to the third, okay?
50 and
So minus or plus?
minus 50.
Minus 50m
to the second,
squared, okay?
minus 7M
Okay, minus 7m, and then,
plus 35.
yeah, 35. That's a tough one. If you needed your calculator, then fine. All right, we have 4 terms. We have them highest to lowest. The highest degree term is positive. We pulled up the GCF. We're good to go. So what do?
Box.
Okay, in the box, first box is what?
10m to the third,
Yep. And then,
negative 50 in a second,
great.
negative 7, 35.
Yes, and then 35. Okay, so then GCF for the top row is
2M squared.
just 2m squared.
Oh, shoot, that's a 50. 50, gotcha.
5m squared.
5 goes into both, but 2 does also, and that means that 2 times 5 works. 10 goes into both of those. So 10 what?
M
Yeah.
squared,
M squared. Okay, the bottom row.
negative 7,
Just negative 7. First column,
m,
just M. And the last column,
Negative 5.
negative for sure. 5 times 7 is 35, and 7 is prime, so it can't go any bigger than 5. So it's negative 5. All right, so what's our answer then?
6m parentheses m minus 5, 10m to the second minus 7.
This is a 10 m squared minus 7. Okay, so we got a 10 m squared minus 7. That's it. Okay? Pretty easy when you do it this way. Now, let's take a look at the summary at the bottom. It says, first, always factor out the GCF. I've been harping on you guys about that all chapter long. If the polynomial is 2 or 3 terms, look for a difference of squares, look for a perfect square trinomial, or undue FOIL. If you have 4 terms, then you're gonna, it says group the terms, but you're actually going to just do the box, okay? As a final check, make sure there are no common factors other than 1. And I'll add one more thing. On the homework, there's several problems where after you factor the problem, maybe you have something like this. You got like 3x times x squared minus 4 times x plus 2. Okay, so you think that's the answer, but it's not actually, because this right here is the difference of squares, which means that needs to be factored one more time. So then you'd have 3x, the difference of squares factors into conjugates, and then the x plus 2 is still hanging out. So this would be 1's a plus, 1's a minus, and then we have x and 2 and x and 2. Now that's the answer, okay? So there's several problems in this homework assignment where that happens, like 4 or 5 times, that you gotta watch for a difference of squares, okay? Other than that, that's the section.